Yeah. Welcome back to Peak Speed Lab 164, where gravity and mass meet friction and the ramp decides the results. What do we have in the lab today? I just picked it from the next up in the queue here with no idea, not no idea for following a series or anything. Every once in a while, is if you've seen the previous videos, I'll do that, or I'll pick a vehicle for a specific reason. Otherwise, I just I'll pick whatever's next in the queue here. So what do I got? I got a Mock-It Go. This is from the HW Track Champs number 4 of 5. On the back, bring your racing spirit to life on track with these speed chasers. So this is promising to be a fast vehicle, but once again, the ramp's going to decide. So we'll see if it goes. But in the meantime, why don't we unbox this bad boy? That's right. We're unboxing this thing right now. You can see it straight on. Mock-It Go. We'll do the usual unboxing process. Again, this is like, one of those inexpensive vehicles you can get. Hardware store, drugstore, grocery store kind of a thing for $1.50, maybe $2, depending on where you're shopping. It doesn't have a picture of the other vehicles, like as we've talked about, some of them do. But very colorful, neon. We are coming into summer, so I don't know. Maybe we'll get some neon speed here. I'm going to hope. Well, okay. This is like a 50-50 here. It didn't come off perfectly smoothly, but smooth enough. Feels pretty light. I'm really hoping this falls into the B class because we have now 11 cars in the C class, and I want to really even some things out so that we can start doing some of these other races. But as usual, let's see how it feels on the regular texture table here. This is a, texture table. We'll do the usual measurements. Oh, I like that sort of see-through look. And then run the 20 warm-ups, watching the progression of the fastest lap speed and the slowest lap speed. Really time, I guess, is really technically what it is. And then, trying to see in the little cockpit there in the driver's area. And then we'll sort of see where she falls. I'm going to assume, Malaysia. I was going to say, I'm going to assume Malaysia right now, given the way the car feels. Oh, metal base, plastic tires. So this is another one with a metal base. It feels light for a metal base. Anyway, and then we'll do the 10 official laps, taking the average of that. Then we're going to compare it against all the other vehicles that we've measured and tested in the lab, and then how it performed within its own cohort. So how do you say, I'm going to stop yapping and start lapping after I'm done tracking? So let me stop gabbing. Yeah, too many notes. All right, my fellow diecaster blasters, let's get this this bad boy measured up, and we'll see you at the short form drag strip in a mo. We're back at the track, the short form drag strip, for the 20 test runs and the 10 official laps. Well, right off the bat, this thing was barely in the C weight class. It was like 30.16. And I had to keep things, I got to keep the numbers legit and honest. I wanted it to be in the B class. I was hoping it would be in the B class. It's so close to the B class, but technically it did not weigh into the B class. So it's at the bottom class of the C, or the bottom portion of the C class. Other than that, it had a super low center of gravity. This might be the lowest that's been measured so far. It was like over 70 degree result. And then again, all the information will be in the description by the time we're done when I post it, regarding the measurements, regarding the performance and all of that. So we're about to do we tested the starting gate, because I have to do that now every time. So it was working well, and we're going to do the usual. We're going to flip the camera around and video the first warm-up lap. Then I'll do the other 19. We'll come back for the 10. You know the drill. If you've been watching, you know the drill by now. So let's say we turn it around and check it out now. Here we go. First lap. Woo, kind of coming in and out of focus there. First lap for the warm-ups. .862. Not as fast as I thought it was going to be, but we'll see how the rest of the laps go. All right, we'll be back. Just finished up the 20 warm-up laps. Really a consistent run. It has a pretty, like, lap one was the fastest, and then 2, 5, and 7 it went out, but not by much. So well, based on this, you think this is going to be a uh pretty small variance, right, of how it's going to perform overall. And the other thing is there's very little wobble, very little shimmy coming down the track. A lot of these have like a little bit of a shimmy because of the, I guess, the axles and the looseness of the axles and stuff. But also when it hits that end, when it hits the end part, I have like these foam stoppers. The car did not bounce out of its lane at all, and usually that happens quite often. But this thing was so stable, it just came right back every time, very smooth. So it's going to be fun to see how these 10 laps go. So what do you say we get to it right now? Okay, for the beginning of the first lap of the 10 official laps, we want to make sure it's centered as usual. Look at that. Short form drag strip. When I was telling you about the foam pieces, right? Those are the foams at the end. And yeah, it's going to be an interesting 10 official laps. So here we go, lap 1 of official. We are at lap 10, and we've had a couple of laps of improvement. We'll show those at the end here once we do this last lap. .863. So we'll see. This is the result from today, or results. So lanes. So originally the fastest lap at 1.862 during the warm up, but then you'll see lap 2 was faster, and then lap 8 was the fastest. So, but still ran pretty tight. Last number 10, the lap 10 was 1.863, as you saw. So let me go ahead and we're going to enter this information into the database. We'll do put the post together. You can see the awesome slot cars. I got to give John Racer 3, his garage, some love. He does a lot of really great content as well. No, I don't know him. We've never chatted. I just, respect his work. So anyway, there we go. We are going to wrap it up now. We are back. Just finished entering the data, the results from the warm-up laps and the official 10 laps. So I'd already mentioned the numbers a minute ago, but the average of the 10 official laps was 1.8675 seconds. So while this is part of the Hot Wheel Track Champs, Mach It Go, looks like it should have been really fast, sounded like it should have been really fast, read like it should have been really fast. Was it really fast? Nah. So far nobody's been able to really knock off anything in the C class after these high voltages. I still think the fastest car was like that Baby Ruth car from a while back, the concept car. But anyway, we're gonna plug this info in It as with the 20 warm-up laps, I had made a comment or an observation that it never jumped out of its lane after hitting the the rebound. Same thing for the 10 laps, so it was super stable and ran very smoothly. It just wasn't as fast as we thought it was going to be here, but that's okay. That's why we collect the data. That's why we don't make assumptions. Well, we can make our assumptions, but that's why we don't stick with them until, that's why we measure it so we can know for real what's going on. As always, we want to respect the people who, produced, who designed and produced the this vehicle. We want to ensure that the even with the inspiration for the car, I don't know what the inspiration was, but it's very colorful. Looked really neat. I love to be able to kind of like the translucent, the see-through part, translucence of it. So, as always, it's time for the lighted spinning pedestal for the moment of glory right now. Bam.